host of the Gridiron.
Charlie Evans passed away. He was a running back for the Giants from USC. And I saw this because, he was with the Giants 1971 to 73. And then he finished his career in 1974 with the Redskins. But, the thing was with him is that, this is when I first started watching football. Actually, I started watching football in 1970. He got drafted in 1971. But he's one, and there was a ton of, there's like Vince Clemens and Joe Orduña and Bobby Duhan and Morrison. Joe Morrison, that's why you never see anybody wear number 40 because of him. He got his number retired. But, I said Charlie Evans, Rocky Thompson, Ernie Coy, Tucker Frederickson, Ron Johnson. So, a ton of running backs back then. Unfortunately, a lot of them was because a lot of them got injured. Ron Johnson was in and out of lineup quite often because he had injuries. Tucker Frederickson, we took him the number 1 overall pick in the 65 draft. He was a good college running back, but he only lasted from 65 to 71 because after 71 he had to retire due to injuries. Charlie Evans here, he broke his leg. I think it was in 72 against the Broncos. We beat the Broncos 29-17 at Yankee Stadium. And then he retired after the 74 season. There were so many guys that, I said Rocky Thompson, we drafted him, the first round pick in 71, 73 against the Oilers. Somebody, I think, kind of like speared him in his chest or something like that. It was the first game of the season, so he didn't last very long for the Giants at all. He got injured, and his career kind of went away. We had a lot of guys back then, just injuries, and Charlie Evans would be another one of them. But I saw this, and I just wanted to do a little something on him because I remember him. He had a couple good games with the Giants, but for the most part, his stats were not very good. So, but it says Charlie Evans, who played at the Giants backfield in the early 70s, died in Texas at his home on November 4th at the age of 76. Cause of death was not announced. He was drafted out of USC by the Giants in 1971 and then spent the first month of the season on a taxi squad, one of the players under contract to the team, but not on the main roster. Basically, taxi squad, but it's like the practice squad nowadays. Those players use as an auxiliary dressing room. They used an auxiliary dressing room at Yankee Stadium. He said, it's kind of lonely back there, he told the New York Times. Sometimes they forget about you, and when you look in your locker, there won't be any clean sweats, clean jocks, or undershirts, or things like that. Wow, times have changed. Injuries opened up a spot for him, and he scored 5 touchdowns over a 3-game span, including 3 in a 35-17 win over the Chargers. That was 1973. No, sorry, 1971. That was his rookie season. 71. Giants only won 4 games in 1971. The Chargers was one of them. Let's see. Said that was the 71. They said that was the final season of Fran Tarkenton with the Giants, who before was traded back to the Vikings after the 71 season. Tarkenton would call his own plays, and you had better do what you were asked to do on each play, Evans said. Evans' best game of 72 came in a 45-21 win over the Saints. That was at Yankee Stadium as well, in which he ran for 2 touchdowns and caught a third. He ran for 87 yards on 17 carries. Unfortunately, his season ended in early November when he suffered a broken leg against the Broncos at Yankee Stadium, the game the Giants won 29-17. 72, that was a good season. The Giants were actually 8-6 that year. He said he spent 1973 with the Giants and 1974 in Washington, which was good for him because 74 Washington, the Redskins, sorry if I offend anybody by saying Redskins, but the Redskins actually made the playoffs that year, so good for him. But 74, that was his final season of his career. He said the hardest thing to realize when you get out of the game is the fact that you don't get any more freebies, he later told Newsday. You don't get any more checks picked up by people you never met because they know who you are. You don't sign any autographs. Nobody wants you. His body was donated to NFL concussion protocol research, according to his obituary. Good for him. Despite health issues related to football, Evans told Newsday he had no regrets about his career. It's part of the game, part of what you love, part of what you wanted to do. And the way I look at it, okay, what came along, came along. I can't do anything about that, he said. Let's see here. Is this here? Okay, and I got another one, just another one real quick here. Former Giants running back dead at age 74. Charlie Evans has died, according to reports. Oh, this one is he was 76 years old. Then the top of this says he was dead at 74 years old. Weird. The obituary for Evans said he died on November 4th at his residence in Longview, Texas. He was a native of California who began his collegiate career at Utah and finished at Southern Cal. Now it was weird because at Southern Cal, I mean his stats were not good at all. I mean, we drafted this guy. He had 2 years at where we're at here. There we go. At Southern Cal. I mean, he averaged 1969 he averaged 4.3 yards a carry. In 1970, he averaged 3.7 yards a carry, and we drafted him. And you look here, I mean, with the Giants, he averaged rookie season 1971. He averaged 3.6 yards a carry. 3.5 yards a carry, and in 1973, his last year with the Giants, he averaged 2.3 yards a carry. He ran the ball 34 times with 77 yards. I mean, and then his final season in the NFL with the Redskins, he 2.5 yards a carry. So he was not he was not a super spectacular ball player by any stretch of the imagination. Let's see. He was taken in the 14th round. He was taken number 356th overall by the Giants. He played for the team through the 1973 season, and then he played 1 year for the Redskins, wrapping up his career in 74. He finished with 644 yards rushing on 205 carries, 470 yards on 54 catches, and he scored a grand total of 13 touchdowns. His obituary said that at his request, his body was donated to the NFL concussion protocol research program. So, yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys. He took a lot of hits, It is what it is. But, hopefully, he did a great thing by donating his body to research. So whether they'll find out anything or not, who knows? But I just want to do so. I just see stuff like that and just makes me feel all warm inside. It just takes me back to when I was a wee kid. But so one of the Giants running backs from 1971, 72, and 73, Charlie Evans, passed away.